All right. So we'll offer our prayers. Om Jnanati Nirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakaltarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaya Vichapatitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे. So, Hare Krishna. So, we completed last week on Friday till verse number 22, 21, and 22, which was about the Bhaktavatsala quality of the Supreme Lord, that how he became the chariot driver for Arjuna. So, just one second, let's quickly read what it was, the verse 21, 22 together. So Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So before this, so this section from 21 to 27 is about the Bhaktavatsala quality of Krishna. What is Bhaktavatsala? The lover of his devotee. So he never fails in reciprocating to his devotees. So he becomes the chariot driver. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that even though he might become the chariot driver or the tiny baby of his mother, but he always remains the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just like the devotees like to serve Krishna, Krishna enjoys and Krishna feels more pleasure when he starts serving his devotees. So here in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is becoming the chariot driver of Arjuna, which is such a menial job basically. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, and then he is becoming the chariot driver. So generally, like when in the movies or any place, the hero when he enters like with with a big bang in a very nice looking pose and very nice things. He will have goggles and very uh, beautiful looking shoes and nicely dressed up and all like that. Heroes appear generally when they make their first scene in the movie or in any other scenario like that. But here, Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, topmost of the heroes, but how he is making his entrance, the first show is that he is showing as a chariot driver of Arjuna, right? So
Right.
that is our supreme loving Father. That is how he is. So that is for his devotee, he is willing to do anything. Why should we not be attracted to him? We can ask ourselves that question. Why should we not be attracted to him? He is such a supreme loving father friend, whatever relationship we may have with him. But it's like this. So now this will continue. Let's see what happens. We'll read verse number 23.
Kasturi, can I ask a question?
Yes.
And I know it's a little bit off subject. What is the name of the prayer that you recite before the class?
Oh, so this is just here in the introduction here. So let me show you. So in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, so there are prayers here. So in introduction, this Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananja. So to make it, to save time, I made it like I didn't recite all of them. I recited just this one, Om Jnana Timirandasya, then Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam. And then I went to Ancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So this is the prayer we offer to when we meet devotees. So we offer our obeisances to the devotees because it is through devotees only that we get the bhakti, the devotion, right? So those Vaishnavas, the devotees, are the most important uh, in our lives because through them we will get devotion and bhakti. So then after that we say Jai Shri Krishna Chait. Oh, and also sometimes I recite the pranam mantra for Srila Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादे शतारिणे. I offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear, who became very dear when he took, because he has taken shelter of Krishna. Right? Namo Vishnu Padaya. He is at the lotus feet of Vishnu or Krishna. So he is very dear. I offer my obeisances to him. And then Namaste Saraswate Devi, because he is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I offer my obeisances to who is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. So he came to the Western world to teach us, give us what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, right? Gauravani Pracharine, to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeshe Tarine. So he is removing the voidism and impersonalism. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeshe Tarine, to deliver the Western world and to remove the voidism and impersonalism. He has come to this Western world to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So those are the prayers we do. Right? Yes, Prabhu?
And you do the Mahamantra as well.
Yeah, Mahamantra as well, yes. Yes, David Prabhu?
Sid, I just typed up all of the most common prayers that we say before all of these talks and before all the speakers,
Yes.
including the ones at the end that we say, Nashringam Dev, then the Mahaprasad, before you, to bless the prasadam, and then after what we say, before we serve the prasadam. So I've typed them all up, and Bhakti Vinod edited them all for me, and I'm printing them out for Saturday for anyone that's new. So I'll have copies for you.
Oh, that's
I
good.
totally appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so, thank you so much.
It'll be in order, so you'll be able to follow it with the translation. Well, it's written in the translation, of course, and the English.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for that service. It's really going to be helpful for Sid Prabhu. Yeah. So someone wants to read this verse number 23?
I can read.
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you do the Sanskrit and then I'll do the rest?
Okay, all right. Yotsammanan evekshe aham ya ete atra samagataha dharatrashtrasya durbuddhir yuddhe priya chikirsavaha. Translation and purport.
Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father, Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intentions of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident on the victory because Krishna was sitting by his side.
Yeah. So you want to say something?
No, I think that seems self-explanatory.
Yeah, self-explanatory. So basically, just before the war is to start, Arjuna asked him to take the chariot in the middle of the army so that he can say. So last time when we read those verses 21 and 22, we were talking about just like when we go out of the house after in the morning, we do our sadhana and then we go out to work, which is that fight against Maya, right? Because everywhere we see things, it's like total material energy which is ready to attack us.
Well, the interesting thing about the whole Bhagavad Gita, right? As you start to read it, if you just remove the time frame,
Mm-hmm.
right? You take the whole Bhagavad Gita and put it in today in your life,
Yeah.
and you can see every piece of it every moment of the day.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So, and then all these Duryodhan and all these opposite side people, they are inside us actually. Yesterday, here in Alachua, we had His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami. So he was giving a class and he did initiation also here for some devotees. So he was speaking on the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. And then he was just saying this body is like a field.
Mm.
It's like a field, and when we have like anger, lust, greed, pride, envy, all those are like Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra and all those those people inside us.
Yeah, I think when I read it not too long ago, the we didn't get through the whole thing, but it was a reading group, and we were reading every Monday night, dissecting certain parts, 2 or 3 verses,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was the biggest piece of it, which is you have to displace, like, don't focus so much on the event itself
Hmm.
because the same event's happening in our world today,
Mm-hmm.
right? Except it's even worse, right? Because we're deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
war is bigger. The
Mm-hmm.
deterioration is further along than it was 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is it's that message. Like when you see when we say, oh my goodness, look at social media or look what things are doing,
Mm-hmm.
that's the deterioration that's happening right in front of us.
Yes.
The
Yes.
disconnection is just going faster and further.
Further, yeah. So actually that should give us a alarm that how important and urgency that should make us feel to take up this spiritual practice more urgently, actually. How
Yeah.
urgent it is because it's the deterioration is happening so fast. It's like exponential, basically. Like within last 15, 20 years, things have changed so much, so fast, actually, right? Yeah, I mean that observing how things are going should give us a alarm. All right, so let's continue. Anybody wants to read?
Yes, Mataji, I can read.
Yeah.
Hari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
verse number 24.
Sanjay Uvacha eva mukto ऋषिकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत सेनयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमम्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharat, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Kesa. Goda means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Kesa. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because that is the nature of devotee. Either in waking or in sleeping, a devotee of of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, from qualities and pastimes, Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. And as Rishi Kesa, or the director of the sense and mind, is every living entities, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows. Hari Bol.
Haribol, you want to say something?
Mataji, you explained, Mataji.
Okay, so Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. So meaning who has conquered his sleep. So that is what. So why this particular name is used here? Because he can never forget Krishna, and he is that meaning he has already conquered over his sleep and all, and he is not in ignorance. So meaning whatever has happened, he is always actually remembering Krishna. So whatever little something comes in his way, that will also be removed. And this is Sanjay is saying that like he's going in, and there is a reason, because one thing is that of course he want to, like in the previous verse we heard that he want to gauge what with whom he is going to fight, but at the same time Arjuna's attachment to his grandfather Bhishma Dev and his teacher Dronacharya and all his family members is coming out basically. That is why Krishna is here. It is saying that Krishna understood what is his, here Prabhupada is writing. Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the army. Thus he did so and spoke as follows. So we will see. Yeah. Yeah, so basically this point is very important here, that how can we conquer ignorance is by always thinking of Krishna and remembering, always being in Krishna consciousness, then Maya cannot attack us and we cannot be in the lower modes of material nature, right? Because, yes, Prabhu.
So at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
he has conquered because, Arjuna has conquered because of he conquers sleep and ignorance because he's remembering Krishna. So does that mean, or does that imply, I should say, then in the future verses, in the future chapters, when he's asking all the questions, when he falls down in the chariot, that he doesn't forget Krishna at that moment, but he forgets about the body. He forgets, because Krishna says, I don't understand why you're so worried. You're not killing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So is the he doesn't forget Krishna later. So maybe it's the sleep and the ignorance, not necessarily ignorance later on. Is it just that he's forgetful, or is it just that?
Yeah. So the whole episode of Bhagavad Gita, this whole drama, or what should I say, this whole adventure is actually orchestrated by Krishna.
Right.
Arjuna is put into bewilderment actually. Arjuna is a pure devotee and he always is Krishna's friend, right? But he gets bewildered because Krishna in his heart is doing it so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita for all of us. That is the only reason, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Arjuna has all these qualities, like he has conquered over sleep and he is the best archer, right?
Yeah.
That he's the one who won the test of shooting his arrow on the shadow of the fish, on the eye of the fish, right? So that is why he has been qualified with all these qualities.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so he is not in ignorance or anything. It's just Krishna has put him in that situation so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu?
Kishori, the word samadhi
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it have like more meaning than Krishna consciousness? Isn't
Uh,
it like a state
the-
of being?
so samadhi means actually that you are fully connected with the super soul, right?
Yes, because I've
You
heard it
are
before, but
you,
in a different context.
uh, say that again, Prabhu.
I've heard the term samadhi before, but in a different context.
Yeah, so in like Ashtanga yoga also they call it samadhi, right?
Right.
Last,
Okay.
right? Dhyana dharana samadhi.
Now I
So
understand.
when you are completely, so in the Ashtanga yoga, when you are completely fixed on the super soul, when you are not disturbed by any of your senses, mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is samadhi. Meaning, and actually there is this time period that I don't remember exactly. I can tell maybe tomorrow. That if you are focused on the super soul in the yogic in the Ashtanga yoga system, then it is dhyan. And then when you are focused completely without being distracted for 48 minutes or so, then it is dharana. And then when you are for 1 hour or something, I am not remembering the time period, then it is called samadhi. But actual samadhi is that when you are your connection with Krishna, you never lose. You see in everything Krishna. You are not distracted by your sense enjoyment desires. You are not distracted in mind or senses or anything, but you are completely Krishna conscious.
Yes. It's my recollection is samadhi is like a state of nothingness.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. That is in the for the impersonalist. That is
Mhm.
samadhi for impersonalist. But for us, it is connecting with Krishna. For a devotee, samadhi is to be in connection with Krishna.
Okay. Thank
Right? Nothingness means that is again that Srila Prabhupada's Pranam mantra, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. That Shunyavadi and Nirvishesha, that is no impersonalism, no voidism, but connecting with Krishna. That is actually that's what I was talking about it. Like so many, we may have like Duryodhan chose the army of Krishna. So meaning a huge number of soldiers and animals and all that he chose. But that one Krishna was not there, so it was all like zeros. In case of Pandavas, their army was smaller, but they had Krishna, who is the big one in front of, right? So we may have so many zeros, but if there is no one, then what will that all army of zeros will do for us, right?
Yes.
So it's that samadhi impersonalism. Again, even if one attains that kind of liberation where they merge in the impersonal effulgence, still they have to come down because there is no relationship, right? So without relationship, we cannot be happy. And Krishna consciousness is the process when we develop that relationship with Krishna and Krishnas, right?
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on to, we'll read one more verse and then probably we'll end.
25.
25. Sid,
I'll
probably
read,
you want to read? Yeah, go ahead.
of course. Bhasma drona parmuktana sarvasam ka mahik kasitam uvaka paratha pasatyanan samati samadhan karun ita.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to read the purport.
Mm-hmm.
In the presence of Brisma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Karus assembled here. Hare Krishna, the purport.
Mm-hmm.
As the supersoul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Harusaka,
Hirishikesha.
Harishikasha in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the world of Partha, meaning the son of Partha, or Kunti, is also similarly significant to the reference to Arjuna. As his friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Partha, the sister of his own father, Asudava, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Karus? Did Arjuna want to stop here and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt, Partha. His mind, the mind of Arjuna, was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking.
You want to say something? Haribol. You want to say something?
I don't particularly understand this paragraph,
Okay.
but I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So
thank you.
yeah. So he brought the chariot in the front of the army. Especially he brought where exactly Drona and Bhishma were there. He just brought the chariot in front of them to brought out Arjuna's attachment because and purposely he did it actually. So because that way Arjuna's attachment to Bhishma and Drona will come out. So just like I was saying before that Krishna actually put Arjuna in this situation, right? Krishna actually put Arjuna in this situation, bewildered him, and exactly so that because as we are attached to our family members and the attachment comes out when they are around us, right? When somebody dear to us is there, we cry sometimes, right? And when we are with others, then we don't. So that is what exactly Krishna did. So just like we are attached, same way Arjuna is attached and he brought it. And we will see what happens. Just like when he sees Drona and Bhishma, then what happened, right? We will see that. So then purport Srila Prabhupada is saying that because Krishna is there in the heart of all living entities and he is Rishikesha, he is the controller of the senses. In one of the previous purport, we heard that um, Arjuna's senses are completely directed by Krishna because according to our surrender to Krishna, takes he is the one who actually directs our senses according to our surrender, level of surrender to Krishna. So, but Arjuna is a pure devotee, so all his senses are completely directed by Krishna. So, and then this Partha is used. Partha, so he is saying here, behold, Parth, all the Kurus assembled here. See, oh, actually, you are my cousin, son of Kunti Devi, whose other name is Parth. So look, all your family members are there. And our Acharya says that Krishna had a sarcastic smile on his face also at this time because he is just wanting to see how Arjuna's attachment comes out. And we will see in the coming up verses, Arjuna is going to say, I'm not going to fight because all these are my family members. Right? Yeah. And then why did he use the word Parth here? That here, like Srila Prabhupada is saying, behold the Kurus. So Arjuna probably because seeing his family members, he might say that, okay, I'll stop and I'm not going to fight. But He is using the word Parth. There are multiple meanings here for Parth. So because when you belong to a high class family, so you have the responsibility, right? When you are belonging to particular type of family heritage, then you have the responsibility accordingly to keep up the honor of that family, right? So that is one another meaning that he used. And then Krishna never expected that from son of his aunt to stop fighting and to give up. Because for Kshatriya, it's a for Kshatriyas, when they are in the battlefield, it is worse than death. We will see that in chapter 2. Krishna is going to say that it is going to be worse than death for you. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all. Anybody has anything to
Yes, I
add?
have a question.
Yes.
I don't get the joke.
You didn't get a joke? Okay. So the joke is like, okay, you are in the battlefield
Yeah,
and he's kind of telling you, oh, look at that. All your family members are standing here to fight with you.
right, with me or against me.
Against me, like meaning they are, so now what are you going to do? You are going to fight with all your family members, Arjun?
Yes.
Right? So it's in that sense. Means actually Krishna is not mean to him, but he is bringing out Arjuna's attachment because he wants to speak Bhagavad Gita. He first put it him in the bewilderment, and then he is going to bring him out through this Bhagavad Gita so that we all can learn from him.
So it should say predicted by the Lord in friendly
Joking.
teasing.
So the mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking. That means actually Arjuna's mind is that he that attachment will come out basically, that I cannot fight with my. That's why he brought it just in front of Bhishma and Drona. Because to them, to Bhishma and Drona, he is most attached. Right?
I get it. I get
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what happens with us also. Exactly. I mean, we are not in this horrible situation where we have to fight with so many of our family members and soldiers, but we have a different kind of fight with even one sense at getting attracted to, maybe let's say, for example, my health doesn't permit me to eat ice cream, but but sometimes I slip in my control. So exactly the same thing, right? Yeah.
right.
All right. So anything anybody wants to share something? Yeah. So this is our journey too. And with this studying Bhagavad Gita, we can actually parallel it to our lives and check where we are like Arjuna, right? But we will see how in second chapter Arjuna is going to make Krishna his guru. Because right now he's friend, but with a friend it's a different type of talk we do, but with a guru we do a different type of talk, right? So he's going to make, which is the biggest lesson, that when we are in bewilderment, we should not shy away or we should not hide ourselves, but we should ask the appropriate person, and who can be more appropriate than Krishna for Arjuna. I mean, for us, we have so many devotees whom we can approach, right, and open our hearts. So Krishna, in this whole Bhagavad Gita, we will also see that um, opening our heart to somebody who can guide us is so important. Otherwise, we will just have a question mark in our heart and keep going in our life, right? Yeah. All right. So thank you all very much. If somebody has something, please share. Otherwise, we will end. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरि हरि बोल. Thank you all very much. We'll continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.